Hey, a lot of us only stop and be still when we are forced to be or when we are asleep. And some of us aren't always so still in our sleep either. This is for lots of different reasons. We have lots on our minds, and currently in our society, everything is so busy and digital and switched on, and there's just this information flowing all of the time. And we get caught up in all the things we need to do and want to do and feel obligated to do, that slowing down and inviting stillness back in, which is often so important for kind of boosting our creativity or our connection to our bodies, just to fuel that kind of intuitive thinking for lots of different reasons. And instead we exhaust ourselves. And trying to be still when you're exhausted and feeling like you're letting people down or you want to be doing something else is even more depleting. I want to share with you a slightly restorative yin shape today. So the practice is as long as you choose to allow it to be. It's probably going to be for about 4 or 5 minutes for me, which is exactly what I like when I am doing this for myself. Is one of my go-to moves. I call them a yin move, but it is a little bit more restorative because I am using a bolster. And it is a supported child's pose shape. The purpose of this shape is around coming into self in being still. So we can be still in lots of ways. So Shavasana at the end of a practice, or a lot of people like these big open-hearted ones, and that's okay, but that's inviting us to kind of clear body or take things in, even if we're being still. And different things work for different people, but in terms of introspection and coming into yourself and grounding and safety, this is a really kind of important shape for that within a yin world. And one I really enjoy and lots of clients have enjoyed over the years. Now you could pad out lots underneath you. You could be on the bed at home, you could be carpeted, you could have two mats, you could pad out underneath the ankles. You could also choose to pad out between the feet and the bottom, especially if you struggle to sit all the way back. But what we are going to do, instead of our chest coming all the way down to the floor, we're going to support that by pulling the bolster into us. I also like to add a block under the end of my bolster. You don't have to have a yoga bolster to do this. You could have some pillows wrapped up in a blanket. You could have a big lounge cushion that works equally fine. And I've had in some classes people like to put a blanket over themselves as well, especially if they're really cocooning into stillness. The one thing that this shape also will do when we kind of settle into it is working into the hips, because it's a child's pose, so you might settle in by rocking the hips from side to side. It is working a little bit the digestive system because we're coming over and adding a little bit of layer of compression, but it's incredibly kind of earthy and grounding. And that's why I'm sharing it with you today, in and around those concepts of stillness and calmness. It doesn't mean that when we're still, we're automatically calm, or that we can clear our head and have no thoughts. It allows us to process our thoughts and just pick things apart. So it's not a meditation where you're being asked to just switch off everything. It's going to allow you time to reflect, to process, to then come back into your space, maybe a little bit more mindful, maybe a bit more considered, maybe with a clearer head, all sorts of different reasons. So find your good space. Like I said, blankets, support underneath the knees, whatever that looks like for you. And the reason I like the block is because I can wrap my arms around, pop my head to one side, and then just work my way into stillness. So we settle in with the breath, so taking the breath down into the belly as much as possible in this kind of shape. And then there's long, slow releases to help regulate the nervous system to really come into that rest and digest phase in the body, so that we can find a place of stillness and begin to hold it for some time. Notice if you are holding on into any tension in your jaw, or the tongue, or your brow. Notice if you lose that connection to your breath, and just invite it back in. And as with any yin or restorative shape, we just want to begin to connect to our senses and our surroundings before we move. And then just prepare yourself to find your way out of the shape. And just sitting with how you feel about that when you've tried it, whenever it is you choose to do that. I'm going to leave you in peace. Take care, and I will see you next time.